Welcome to the Ultimate Sports Blog Podcast. Today is Wednesday, May 9th, 2018. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's NBA playoff action, look ahead to tonight's Game 5 between the 76ers and the Celtics from TD Garden, look back on last night's Major League Baseball action, look ahead to today's action, give out my pick for the Stanley Cup Eastern Conference Final, give out my pick for the NBA Western Conference Final, and I'll do my 2013 MLB ReDraft, and we are underway. The Rockets defeated the Jazz 112-102 to advance to the Western Conference Finals. Chris Paul was amazing. 41.7 rebounds, 10 assists in the win. He was the best player on the court. Donovan Mitchell, 24 points and 9 assists in defeat. Too bad for Mitchell. He had to get carried off the court because of a foot injury, and I feel bad if that doesn't happen. Maybe this game's more competitive or even closer. Maybe Utah finds a way to win and force a Game 6. But give the Rockets credit. Give all the credit to Chris Paul. He led the way, and he's finally in the conference finals. The Warriors defeated the Pelicans 113-104 as they advanced to the Western Conference Finals. Stephen Curry, 28 points in the win. Anthony Davis put up 34 points and 19 rebounds in defeat. As the Pelican season comes to an end, they should be an interesting team to watch this offseason. DeMarcus Cousins, who missed the second half of the year due to the torn ACL, could be back. He's a free agent, so it should be interesting to see what they do. And I thought they actually were better without him through the course of the second half of the year, which is crazy to say because I think DeMarcus Cousins is a great player. But it's going to be an interesting summer for them. And for the Jazz, they are heading in the right direction as a franchise. Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert are two nice foundation pieces. Let's see who they take in the draft, and let's see if they can make some other interesting moves this offseason. Tonight you have the 76ers at the Celtics, 8 o'clock, TNT. This is going to be an interesting game. Will this be the last game of Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid this season, or will they force a Game 6? I'm going to say Boston closes this out tonight. They've been the better team in the series, although the Sixers are probably the better team on paper right now. But the better team in the series has been the Celtics. They found ways to win games. Al Horford's been tremendous for them. Terry Rozier's playing well. Marcus Smart's been pretty good. Jason Tatum has been great. He's probably been the best player in the series thus far. So give me the Celtics 113-106 to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals to take on LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Baseball last night and yesterday. The Twins defeated the Cardinals 7-1 to complete the two-game sweep. They improved the 15-17 St. Louis Drops with 20-14. Jake Odorizzi with the win. Carlos Martinez with the loss. This was Martinez's worst start since opening day. Bottom of the first inning, home run Jose Martinez, 1-0 Cardinals. Top of the second, sacrifice fly, Eri Adrianza, 1-1. Top of the fourth, Mitch Garver, RBI single, 2-1 Twins. Top of the fifth, two-run double, Robbie Grossman, 4-1 Twins. Top of the sixth, RBI single, Logan Morrison, 5-1 Twins. Top of the seventh, two-run home run, Eduardo Escobar makes it a 7-1 final. Jake Odorizzi, a really good game. 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 3.83 ERA. Carlos Martinez, 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 1.62 ERA. His line wasn't as bad as I thought it was. The Yankees defeated the Red Sox 3-2 as they improve to 25-10. Boston drops to 25-10. These two teams are tied with the two best records in baseball. I'll preview tonight's game in a couple minutes on the podcast. David Robertson with the win. Heath Hembree with the loss, and Roldis Chapman with the save. Bottom of the second, home run Giancarlo Stanton. 1-0 Yankees. Bottom of the fourth, home run Giancarlo Stanton. Again, 2-0 Yankees. Top of the fifth, RBI single, Andrew Benintendi made it 2-1. Top of the seventh, RBI triple, Mookie Betts 2-2. Bottom of the seventh, the go-ahead single by Aaron Judge, 3-2 Yankees. That was your final. Luis Severino, 6 hits, 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 11 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 2.21 ERA. Drew Pomeranz, 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 5.23 ERA. The Royals defeated the Orioles 15-7 as they improved to 12-23. Baltimore drops to 7-27. Danny Duffy with the win, Dylan Bundy with the loss, and not just a loss, but a very bad modern-day baseball record, yielding 4 home runs without getting an out in the first inning. And here was that first inning. 2-run home run, Jorge Soler, 2-0 Royals. Home run, Mike Moustakas, 3-0 Royals. Home run, Salvador Perez, 4-0 Royals. 3-run home run, Alex Gordon, 7-0 Royals. 2-run single, Mike Moustakas, 9-0 Royals. Sacrifice fly, Salvador Perez, 10-0 Royals. That was the score after 1. Bottom of the second, home run, Chris Davis, 10-1. Top of the fifth, sacrifice fly, Jorge Soler, 11-1. 2-run home run, Mike Moustakas, 13-1. Top of the sixth, 2-run single, Ryan Goins, the former Blue Jay, 15-1 Royals. Here comes the Orioles, making not interesting, but they put up some runs here. In the bottom of the eighth, home run, Danny Valencia, 15-2. Home run, Caleb Joseph, 15-3. 2-run single, Jonathan Scope, 15-5. Bottom of the ninth, sacrifice fly, Danny Valencia, 15-6. And the Schoop 2-run single was actually bottom of the ninth. And an RBI single by Anthony Santander, 15-7. That was your final. Danny Duffy, 5 1/3 inning, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 5.15 ERA. Dylan Bundy's off the line, no innings, 5 hits, 7 earned runs, 2 walks, and no strikeouts, leaves the game with a 5.31 ERA. That was by far the worst start of his career. The Phillies defeated the Giants 4-2 as they improved to 20-15. San Francisco drops to 19-17. Aaron Nola with the win. Derek Holland with the loss. Hector Neris with the save. Top of the second, RBI ground out. Brandon Crawford, 1-0 Giants. Bottom of the second, home run Aaron Althea, 1-1. Bottom of the third, home run Jorge Alfaro, 2-1 Phils. RBI single of Duba Herrera, 3-1 Phils. Bottom of the sixth, home run Carlos Santana, 4-1 Phils. Top of the eighth, home run Pablo Sandoval, 4-2. That was your final. Aaron Nola, really good. 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, and 12 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 2.05 ERA. Derek Holland, 5 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 5.66 ERA. The Mariners defeated the Blue Jays 5-0 as they improved to 20-14. Toronto drops to 19-17. James Paxton threw a no-hitter in this game, the third no-hitter in the big leagues this year. The first one being by Sean Manaea against the Red Sox. The second one being Friday night. It was a combined no-hitter by the Dodgers against the San Diego Padres. And now last night with Paxton. And Paxton's help was courtesy of his offense. Top of the third, RBI ground out Robinson Cano, 1-0 Seattle. RBI single, Nelson Cruz, 2-0 Mariners. Top of the fourth, 2-run home run, Mike Zunino, 4-0 Mariners. Top of the fifth, sacrifice fly, Mitch Haniger, 5-0 Mariners. That was your final. And also, his defense helped them out. Kyle Seager made a great play in the bottom of the seventh to prevent the no-hitter, or keep the no-hitter intact. Kevin Pillar hit a sharp grounder, and Seager made the great play at third base to throw out Pillar as he was trying to reach first base. Paxton's line, 9 innings, no hits, no earned runs, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts, 99 pitches. Leaves the game with a 3.4 ERA. Marcus Stroman, 5 innings, 9 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 7.71 ERA. The Reds defeated the Mets 7-2 as they improved to 9-27. The Mets drop to 18-16. Luis Castillo with the win. Jason Vargas with the loss. Bottom of the first, 2-run single, Eugenio Suarez, 2-0 Reds. Bottom of the third, RBI double, Eugenio Suarez, 3-0 Reds. RBI single, Tucker Barnhart, 4-0 Reds. Top of the sixth, home run, Wilmer Flores, made it 4-1. Bases loaded, walk, made it a 4-2 game by Adrian Gonzalez. Bottom of the seventh, RBI single, Eugenio Suarez, 5-2 Reds. 2-run home run, Scooter Gennett, 7-2 Reds. That was your final. Luis Castillo, 5 2/3 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, a walk, and 7 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 6.47 ERA. Jason Vargas, who continues to be awful for the Mets. 4 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, and a strikeout, leaves the game with a 13.86 ERA. Interesting thing before the game, these two teams actually made a trade. The Mets sent Matt Harvey to Cincinnati. Devin Mesoraco and Cash went back to New York. We'll see if Harvey rejuvenates on another team, but I think it's awful for Harvey. He's going to a bad team in a ballpark that yields a ton of home runs. And on the flip side, Mesoraco, his skills have sort of diminished, mostly due to injury, but maybe a change of scenery will benefit him. So, should be interesting to watch. The Braves defeated the Rays 1-0 as they improved to 20-14. Tampa drops to 15-18. Sean Newcomb with the win. Blake Snell with the loss. Arodys Viciano with the save. The lone run in the game was a home run by Ronald Acuna Jr. in the top of the third inning and gave the Braves a 1-0 lead. Sean Newcomb, 6 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 2.88 ERA. Blake Snell, 6 in the third innings, 4 hits, and earned run, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 2.4 ERA. The Brewers defeated the Indians 3-2 as they improved to 21-15. Cleveland drops to 17-18. Cleveland is the first team in a long time to be under 500 through 35 games and lead their division. Brent Sutter with the win, Corey Kluber with the loss, Josh Hader with the save. Bottom of the first, 2-run home run. Travis Shaw, 2-0 Brewers. Top of the third, home run, Jose Ramirez made it 2-1. Bottom of the third, a home run, Brett Suter. Hashtag pitchers who rake. 3-1 Brewers. Top of the fifth, home run, Francisco Lindor made it 3-2. That was your final. Wade Miley actually started this game and only lasted a third of an inning and gave up a hit and a walk. I'm curious to see if it was because of injury or what, but Brent Suter did really well in relief. 4 2/3 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, a walk, and 5 strikeouts, and hit a home run. Left the game with a 4.86 ERA. Corey Kluber, 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, a walk, and 4 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 2.62 ERA. The Tigers defeated the Rangers 7-4 as they improved to 15-20. Texas drops to 14-24. Mike Fiers with the win, Mike Minor with the loss, Shane Green with the save. Top of the first, home run, Javier Candelario, 1-0 Tigers. 2-run home run, Victor Martinez, 3-0 Tigers. Top of the second, home run, 2-run shot by Jose Iglesias, 5-0 Tigers. Bottom of the fifth, home run, Jerkson Profar made it a 5-1 game. Bottom of the sixth, RBI single, Adrian Beltre made it 5-2. Top of the eighth, sacrifice fly, John Hicks, 6-2 Tigers. Bottom of the eighth, RBI double, Sinsuchu made it 6-3. RBI single, Adrian Beltre made it 6-4. Top of the ninth, RBI ground out, Nick Castellanos, 7-4. That was your final. Mike Fiers, 5 in the third inning, 6 hits, 2 runs, no walks, and 5 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 4.73 ERA. Mike Minor, 7 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs, no walks, and 4 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 4.72 ERA. The Cubs defeated the Marlins 4-3 as they improved to 18-15. Miami drops to 13-22. Carl Edwards Jr. with the win. Kyle Barraclough with the loss. Brendan Morrow with the save. Top of the first, the Marlins got their runs. 2-run home run, Justin Bour, 2-0 Marlins. RBI double, Derek Dietrich, 3-0 Marlins. Bottom of the second, a pinch hit double by David Boat, made it a 3-2 game. Bottom of the sixth, fielder's choice, Victor Caratini, 3-3. Bottom of the eighth, fielder's choice again, Victor Caratini, 4-3 Cubs was your final. The fill-in starter for Yu Darvish was Jen Ho Sang, who only lasted 2 innings, gave up 4 hits, 3 runs, no walks, and 3 strikeouts, leaves the game with an ugly 13.5 ERA. Give the Cubs bullpen credit for holding down the fort. Jose Arena, 5 in the third inning, 7 hits, 3 runs, no walks, and 6 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 4.37 ERA. The Pirates defeated the White Sox 10-6 as they improved to 20-16. Chicago drops to 9-24. Tyler Glasnow with the win. Chris Volstad with the loss. Bottom of the first, the White Sox actually got off to a fast start. RBI triple, Yolmer Sanchez, 1-0 Sox. RBI ground out, Jose Abreu, 2-0 Sox. 2-run home run, Wellington Castillo, 4-0 Sox. Top of the second, here come the Pirates with an answer. RBI single, Jose Osuna makes it 4-1. Fielder's choice, Jordy Mercer makes it 4-2. Gregory Polanco ground rule double makes it 4-3. And an RBI single by Starling Marte ties it up at 4 apiece. Bottom of the second, RBI double, Jose Abreu, 5-4 White Sox. Top of the fifth, 2-run double, Colin Moran, 6-5 Pirates. RBI single, Jordy Mercer, 7-5 Pirates. Top of the sixth, RBI triple, Josh Bell, 8-5 Pirates. RBI single, Corey Dickerson, 9-5 Pirates. Top of the eighth, RBI single, Corey Dickerson, 10-5 Pirates. Bottom of the eighth, home run, Wellington Castillo makes it a 10-6 final. Ivan Nova only lasted 2 innings and gave up 6 hits, 5 home runs, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Left the game with a 4.84 ERA. Lucas Giolito was not very good again. 4 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 7.25 ERA. The Rockies defeat the Angels 4-2 as they improve to 21-15. The Angels dropped to 21-14. John Gray with the win. Andrew Heaney with the loss. Wade Davis with the save. Bottom of the third, RBI single, DJ LeMahieu, 1-0 Rockies. Bottom of the sixth, RBI single, Gerardo Parra, 2-0 Rockies. Bottom of the seventh, a 2-run double by Trevor Story, 4-0 Rockies. Top of the eighth, 2-run home run, Justin Upton made it a 4-2 game. That was your final. John Gray was great. 7 innings, 4 hits, no runs, a walk, and 8 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 4.24 ERA. Andrew Heaney, 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, and 5 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 4.78 ERA. The Astros defeat the Athletics 4-2 as they improve to 23-15. Oakland drops to 18-18. Lance McCullers Jr. with the win. Sean Manaea with the loss. Ken Giles with the save. Bottom of the first, Marcus Semien scores on Lance McCullers Jr.'s wild pitch to make it 1-0 A's. Top of the second, home run Alex Bregman makes it a 1-1 game. Bottom of the third, sacrifice fly Chris Davis makes it a 2-1 A's lead. Top of the fifth, a 2-run double by George Springer makes it 3-2. Top of the sixth, RBI single by Marwin Gonzalez makes it a 4-2 game. And that was your final score. Lance McCullers Jr., 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 4 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 3.72 ERA. Sean Manaea, 5 2/3 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, no walks, and 3 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 2.11 ERA. The Diamondbacks defeat the Dodgers 8-5 as they improve to 24-11. The Dodgers dropped to 15-20. TJ McFarland with the win. Yimi Garcia with the loss. Top of the first, a 2-run home run, A.J. Pollock, 2-0 Diamondbacks. Bottom of the first, RBI single, Matt Kemp makes it a 2-1 game. Top of the third, home run, Chris Owings, 3-1 Diamondbacks. Bottom of the third, home run, Yasmani Grandal makes it 3-2. Top of the fourth, a 2-run home run by John Ryan Murphy, 5-2 Diamondbacks. Bottom of the fifth, RBI single, Yasmani Grandal makes it 5-3. An RBI double by Cody Bellinger made it 5-4. Bottom of the ninth, home run, Kiki Hernandez makes it a 5-5 game. Top of the 12th, a 3-run home run by Danny Descalso, 8-5 Diamondbacks, your final. Zach Godley, 5 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, 4 walks, and 4 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 3.83 ERA. Rich Hill, in his first start off the DL, 4 innings, 7 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 7.11 ERA. Last but not least, in terms of last night's games, the Nationals defeated the Padres 4-0 as they improved to 20-17. The Padres dropped to 13-24. Jeremy Hellickson with the win, Clayton Richard with the loss. Hellickson was actually perfect through 6 until Travis Jadakowski led off the 7th inning with a single. Top of the 5th, RBI double Matt Adams, 1-0 Nationals. Top of the 5th as well, RBI single Pedro Severino, 2-0 Nats. Top of the 7th, RBI double by Jeremy Hellickson, 3-0 Nats. Top of the 9th, sacrifice fly Andrew Stevenson, 4-0 Nats was your final. Jeremy Hellickson, 6 2/3 innings, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, and 8 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 2.28 ERA. Clayton Richard, 8 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, no walks, and 8 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 5.72 ERA. Today's games, we have one underway between the Mets and the Reds. Your starting pitchers for that game, Zach Wheeler for the Mets and Sal Romano for the Reds. Indians-Brewers, 1 o'clock, Carlos Carrasco and Junior Guerrera. 2 o'clock, Tigers-Rangers, Francisco Liriano and Bartolo Colon. Another 2 o'clock game, Pirates-White Sox, Trevor Williams and Reynaldo Lopez. 2:20, Marlins at the Cubs from Wrigley. Wei-Yin Chen and Jose Quintana. The Cubs are going for the sweep that they absolutely have to have. The Angels and the Rockies. Jaime Barria and Tyler Anderson. That was a 3 o'clock game. 3:30, Astros Athletics. Garrett Cole and Daniel Megden. 7 o'clock games, the night games. Red Sox Yankees. ESPN tonight. Rick Porcello, Masahiro Tanaka. As I mentioned, ESPN game, so I get to pick it. This was a tough call, but no team is playing better than the Yankees right now. And the momentum carries as good as your next day's starting pitcher, as they say. Masahiro Tanaka has actually pitched pretty well this year. He wasn't great against the Red Sox when he faced them at Fenway earlier in the year. It was a game that he was cruising, and then he fell apart late and gave up a grand slam to, I believe, it was J.D. Martinez, or it could have been Mookie Betts. I don't remember who it was. And then he was taken out of the game, so his stat line kind of made it look bad. Rick Porcello outside of Fenway Park isn't very good. So give me the Yankees, and I think it's going to be a higher scoring game than it was yesterday. Let's say 6-4 Yankees. Aroldis Chapman gets the save in the 9th inning. So the Yankees will be winners of 8 straight and will be in first place in the American League East come tomorrow. The rest of the 7 o'clock games, you have the Royals at the Orioles to see if the Orioles bounce back from that terrible effort. Eric Skoglund against Andrew Kashner. Giants Phillies, Chris Stratton and Nick Pivetta. Mariners Blue Jays, Wade LeBlanc and Jaime Garcia. Braves Rays, Julio Teheran against Ryan Yarbrough. Nationals Padres, Gio Gonzalez and Joey Lucchesi. That's a 9 o'clock game. And then 10 o'clock from Shavaz Regime. The Dodgers looking to bounce back from last night's disappointing loss. Alex Wood against Patrick Corbin. All right. Friday night starts the Eastern Conference Finals of the National Hockey League between the Atlantic Division winning Tampa Bay Lightning against the Metropolitan Division winning Washington Capitals. This is Alex Ovechkin's first conference finals. The Capitals, led by Ovechkin, are great offensively at getting Kuznetsov. Nick Backstrom should be back for the series. A lot of other good role players on that team. Steven Stamkos, Braden Point, Tyler Johnson, Nikita Kucherov. Just a loaded Tampa Bay offense. Their defense is great too, with Anton Stroman and Ryan McDonough, and of course Victor Hedman. Dan Girardi's been a solid vet for them in these playoffs. And you have the youngster Mikhail Sergachev in there as well. John Carlson, who's had a breakthrough year this year, is a free agent after the year. Leads the way defensively for Washington. They also have Matt Niskanen on defense and Brooks Orpik as well. So that team is solid defensively. Goaltending's about even with Andrei Vasilevsky for Tampa. He's been pretty good in the playoffs. And so has Braden Holtby, who's regained his starting position back. That decision to go back to Braden Holtby for Washington might be the decision that defines the Stanley Cup playoffs if they continue to go further. This is a tough call. These two teams are pretty much even, except I think Tampa Bay is the better defense. I think Tampa Bay is better in these types of games. They have a bunch of those guys that were on the Stanley Cup Finals team in 2015. They're in the conference finals in 2016 as well. They have a couple new guys that were a part of those really good Ranger teams that made the conference finals and Stanley Cup final with Dan Girardi and Ryan McDonough. So they have the experience edge. And I think the Tampa Bay Lightning will win this series in 6 games. The Western Conference Finals in the NBA don't begin until next Monday, but I'm going to pick the conference finals on this podcast so I can get it out of the way. It's the one that everybody thought was going to happen. 1-seeded Houston Rockets against the 2-seeded Golden State Warriors. This is going to be a phenomenal series. Give the Rockets credit. They have home court advantage. Let's see if they take advantage to it. Chris Paul's been great in these playoffs. James Harden's been good for the most part. The Rockets role players have been fine, like Clint Capella and Eric Gordon. The only role player I'm worried about for the Rockets in the series is Ryan Anderson. The Warriors have looked like the Warriors of old since pretty much the start of these playoffs. It helps that they played a weaker Spurs team without Kawhi Leonard and once Steph came back, a weaker Pelicans team without DeMarcus Cousins. But give the Warriors credit. They turned back on the switch, and they now have to face the Rockets without home court advantage. That's going to be very interesting. I'm not a big fan of the Warriors bench. Jordan Bell is playing great, and then he's kind of fell out of the rotation. They've been starting Andre Iguodala a lot, which I actually like because they go with their best 5 guys. That said, Durant and Curry are the difference in this series. I'm taking the Golden State Warriors in 6 games over the Rockets. I won't be shocked if this series goes 7. And honestly, I won't be shocked if the Rockets win this in 7. Because they're a very good team in their own right, with home court advantage, with a very good coach, great backcourt, great bench. So I won't be shocked if the Rockets pull off the upset. Although the seedings don't say it's an upset. It is really an upset because the Warriors are favored in the series. But yeah, Golden State in 6. Next up is the 2013 MLB ReDraft, where I redraft the first round of the 2013 MLB draft. A lot of talented players in this draft and a lot of guys who haven't reached the big leagues yet. 1, Astros, Aaron Judge. Oh my God. Could you imagine Aaron Judge on the same team with George Springer and Alex Bregman and Carlos Correa and Jose Altuve? God, they totally whiffed in that draft. But that's okay. They got a World Series still, and they've nailed other drafts, such as 2012 with Correa and whatnot. So, that's that. That's the what if of the draft if they took Aaron Judge or Chris Bryant. But Aaron Judge, I think, is the best player from this draft class, and imagine him on that Astros team in that outfield with George Springer. 2, Cubs, Chris Bryant. No do-over here as the Cubs take their guy in Bryant. He's a franchise player. He's already won the National League MVP. He's a World Series champion. He's not great defensively, and he's very versatile as well. Joe Madden likes to use his versatility, and he's been a great player for the Cubs these last 4 years. 3, Rockies, Cody Bellinger. Could you imagine Bellinger in that Rockies offense with Nolan Arenado and Trevor Story? Oh my goodness. He fell in a hole at first base that they really have sort of lacked. Ryan McMahon hasn't really panned out yet. They've had some veterans there in the past that played well for them, like Mark Reynolds, but could you imagine Bellinger in that lineup? 4, Twins, Sean Manaea. Wow, Manaea's really emerged as one of the better pitchers in baseball this season. He's enjoying a breakout year for the A's. The Royals definitely regret trading him in the deal for Ben Zobrist, although Zobrist was a part of their World Series team in 2015. But the A's found themselves an ace in Manaea. And he would have been a nice pairing with Jose Barrios in that Twins rotation. 5, Indians, Chad Green. Chad Green's emergence has been absolutely brilliant. He was actually not bad as a starter. Detroit shifted him to the Yankees in the trade for Justin Wilson in 2015. The Yankees used him as a starter in his first year in 2016. He wasn't bad. He was actually okay. But he's turned himself into one of the more underrated, better relievers in the game. And imagine Chad Green, Andrew Miller, and Cody Allen in that bullpen. Wow. 6, Marlins, John Gray. John Gray's interesting. He is unlucky because he pitches a majority of games in Coors Field. Although he pitched pretty well there last night. He's getting better at pitching there. But if he was on another team, I think his statistics would be much better. And he would certainly be the ace of the Marlins staff. 7, Red Sox, Corey Knebel. Knebel is one of the more underrated closers in the game. He's come off the disabled list recently and is going to be a big help for the Brewers out of that bullpen. The Red Sox bullpen isn't great outside of Craig Kimbrell, but if you had Knebel as a setup man with Kimbrell, that would be deadly. 8, Royals, Clint Frazier. Clint Frazier is somebody who was picked by the Indians and was traded away to the Yankees in the Andrew Miller trade. I really like Frazier. There's really no place for him on the Yankees. unless if, say, there's an injury to somebody, then he can step in. Maybe the Yankees use him as a trade asset to improve their starting rotation, just as Cleveland used him as a trade asset to improve their bullpen with Miller a couple years ago. There's people that compared Frazier to Mike Trout, but I don't buy that comparison at all. Nobody should be compared to Mike Trout, in my opinion. But yeah, I like Frazier, and he'd be a really nice piece on the rebuilding Royals right now. 9 Pirates, Trey Mancini. Mancini was a steal at where the Orioles took him in one of the later rounds in the draft. He's emerged as an outfielder / DH for the O's. He was in the conversation as a finalist for the AL Rookie of the Year last year. I think he's going to be around with the Orioles for the long haul and stay in during this inevitable rebuild. And he'd be a nice fit on Pittsburgh as well, as they are in the midst of a little rebuild. 10, the Blue Jays, Hunter Renfroe. Renfroe's been inconsistent since getting called up by the Padres. I thought this would be the year he's put it together, but he hasn't really done that yet. Maybe it's a Byron Buxton situation where he is a late bloomer, and that would be something that the Padres would take, because look at the player Buxton has become since last year. And put Renfroe on the Blue Jays. That'd be a nice upgrade in the outfield for a team that's about to enter a rebuild as well. 11, Mets, Ryan Healy. Healy was picked by the A's, and then the A's traded him to Seattle because they had a surplus of infielders. Healy's going to be a good player for the Mariners eventually, and he would have been a nice fit on the Mets too, because they don't really have a long-term answer at first base after Dominic Smith really hasn't panned out for them. 12, Mariners, J.P. Crawford. Crawford was on the pipeline list of top prospects for a couple of years. He finally got called up at the end of last year. He's been a little inconsistent, but he's supposed to be good defensively. Maybe he does pan out eventually for Philadelphia. Maybe he's a late bloomer as well. 13, Padres, Tim Anderson. Anderson has been a nice player for the White Sox as a shortstop. He's somebody like J.P. Crawford that has shown flashes, but Anderson, I think, is more advanced than Crawford because Anderson's had more experience, but Crawford has the upside edge over Anderson. We'll see if Anderson sticks with the White Sox long term, as there's going to be rumors for the White Sox to pursue Manny Machado either this summer or in free agency. I'd say much rather the fall because they are looking like sellers come the trade deadline instead of buyers. Number 14, the Pirates, Austin Meadows. Funny how things work out as the Pirates take their guy in Meadows, except a couple spots back. Meadows is another prospect who's been on the pipeline list for years. Hasn't really panned out. He's still in the minors. Maybe he gets called up at some point in the middle of the season because he's actually played pretty well this year. He's just very raw and has a ton of upside. And he was always thought out to be the long-term replacement for Andrew McCutchen in Pittsburgh. 15, Diamondbacks, Tyler O'Neill. O'Neill's somebody that hasn't really panned out yet either. Seattle shipped him to St. Louis in the trade for Mike Leake last year. And O'Neill's actually playing with the Cardinals right now. Let's see how he turns out. And if O'Neill ever goes to his potential, him and A.J. Pollock in that outfield would have been fun. Although Pollock is in a contract year this year, and we'll see what they do with him since he is going to be a free agent. 16, the Phillies, Billy McKinney. McKinney is somebody who is a highly ranked prospect that the A's drafted and shipped off to Chicago in the deal for Jeff Samardzija last year, and Jason Hamill was in that deal too. And it fetched the Cubs Addison Russell as well. And then McKinney hadn't really panned out with the Cubs. And then the Cubs shifted him to the Yankees in the Aroldis Chapman deal. And McKinney's actually done better with the Yankees than he did with the Cubs. He actually saw time with the Yanks this year, but ended up on the disabled list. And has shown flashes in spring training as well. We'll see what the Yanks do with McKinney. I think they're going to use him as a trade bait again. Number 17, the White Sox, Chance Sisco. Sisco is somebody that is the backup catcher on the Orioles, but should be starting. He has a lot of potential. He's thought out to be a really good hitting catcher. He's good defensively. But I'm curious to see what's up and why he's not starting. He'd project to be the White Sox catcher of the future, as they've been having veteran backstops there for a couple of years now. 18, the Dodgers, Jose De Leon. Funny how things work out as the Dodgers get somebody that they already had with Jose De Leon. They eventually traded De Leon in the deal that brought over Logan Forsythe. I'm not a big Forsythe fan, so I thought Tampa Bay got the better end of the deal, but it stinks that De Leon is actually hurt and won't see time this year. But I think there's a chance he could be a really, really good number 2 starter. Number 19, the Cardinals, Ryan McMahon. McMahon has a ton of upside and potential, but really hasn't shown it with the Rockies. Maybe on a team like the Cardinals, he would have panned out like they thought. Number 20, Tigers, Jake Bauers. Bauers was originally drafted by the Padres, and the Padres shipped him off to Tampa Bay in a deal that Will Myers was sent from Tampa Bay to San Diego, and Steven Souza Jr. And Steven Souza Jr. was sent from Washington to Tampa Bay, and Trey Turner was sent from the Padres to Washington. Let's face it, Washington got the better end of that deal, but Bauers is thought out to be a really good prospect, and maybe he pans out like the Rays think he might, and Bauers would have been a nice fit with the trade as well. 21, Rays, Christian Arroyo. Funny how things work out. The Giants draft Arroyo, and it's shown flashes, and then they ship him off to Tampa Bay in the trade for Evan Longoria. And I think Tampa Bay could eventually get the better end of this deal depending on how Arroyo pans out. 22, Orioles, Chad Pinder. Pinder's a good utility player for the Athletics, as he can play a bunch of different positions. He's still really young, and he'd be a nice fit in Baltimore as they endure their rebuild. 23, the Rangers, Luke Voit, a prospect that was drafted by the Cardinals. Originally was a catcher, but they converted him to first base, and he's hit a ton in AAA, and he saw some limited time in the bigs last year and played pretty well. He'd be a good fit on the Rangers as a first baseman / DH for them. 24, Athletics, Colin Moran. Moran, a Marlins pick that was shipped to Houston in a trade, and then Houston shipped him to Pittsburgh in the Garrett Cole deal. Moran's shown a lot of flashes, and it certainly helps Moran that he's playing full-time now. 25, Giants, Andrew Knapp. Knapp's a nice backup catcher for the Phillies. Had some moments, and he'd be a good backup for Buster Posey as well. 26, the Yankees, Zach Godley. Godley's been a pretty decent number 3, 4 starter for the Diamondbacks these last 2 years, and he'd probably be the number 5 starter on the Yankees. 27, the Reds, Marco Gonzalez. Gonzalez was somebody that made it to the big leagues right away, and he was pretty good with the Cardinals, and the Cardinals shipped him off to Seattle in a trade. And Gonzalez actually got to a bad start this year and started to pitch well of late. So that's it for the redraft, and that's it for today's podcast. I'll be back tomorrow with more basketball. I'll pick the Game 7 in hockey tomorrow night, go over Yankees, Red Sox, and everything else that's going on in baseball. I'll do the redraft from 2013 NHL as well. I hope you guys have a great day.